On the 5th of July 2025, a new Fortnite map by the name of Steal the Brainrot is uploaded to the Fortnite servers by a creator called Farron's. The map seemed to be based on the world record-breaking Roblox game Steal a Brainrot, which has a simple yet super addicting concept of a bunch of Brainrot characters with different rarities walking down a carpet that you can then buy and generate income with. The map began to rise in popularity pretty much instantly due to its super vibrant thumbnail, replayability, and average playtime, hitting over 50,000 players within its first 24 hours of being online. However, what seemed to be just some lucky overnight success and another game trending for a few days until it starts falling off quickly turned into Fortnite's largest UGC game ever, generating tens of millions of dollars and shocking the entire community. This is how they pulled it off. After the map's first initial peak of 50,000 players, the creators instantly got to work, looking for experienced developers to hire on Twitter, building a community on social media with videos hitting over 20 million views, and creating a Discord server which they advertised in-game to make players feel even more attached to the map, giving out secret codes, leaks, and a bunch of other stuff. However, the game concept was the actual crucial part which made the map grow day by day instead of slowly falling off like other maps usually do. As soon as you hop in a match, you're met with a bunch of characters you've probably seen on social media before.
Tung 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 sahur.
And a super vibrant and stimulating environment. And as soon as you go to buy your first ever character, you're hooked. You're able to steal characters from other players, which, especially in the start of the game, can feel super rewarding in case you manage to steal a rare character, making you feel like you skipped a bunch of the boring work you'd initially have to do in the start. If you leave the game now, you may feel like you're missing out on potential god spawns. This insane level of addictiveness, plus the great job done on keeping the game updated, promoting it on social media, and building a loyal community, quickly led to a new player count record of almost 60,000 players. This peak wasn't random, however. When playing Steal the Brainrot, it'll be pretty hard for you to miss the huge live event countdown in the middle of the map. A cool-looking Brainrot character with a timer above its head, indicating that something crazy is going to happen at that time. Makes players clear their calendars and set a reminder to make sure they don't miss out on what seems to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to obtain some super rare Brainrots. At this point, the map stats are unlike anything the community has ever seen before. 1 day at 7-day retention is going through the roof. Average playtime is sitting at around an hour, and the player count keeps rising. Big YouTubers and streamers notice the game's rising popularity and start making content on it. And just 1 week after their first event, another event gets hosted, beating their previous record again, hitting an impressive player count of 65,000. Although these numbers are definitely enough to count as one of the biggest maps in Fortnite, the creators wanted more. They went on to hire the best of the best visual effects artists and 3D designers to cook up next-level live events and improve the map overall. The event 1 week after didn't hit as much as usual, still hitting an impressive CCU of 51,000. However, not even close to beating their previous record. Something had to change to make this game grow week by week. The creators started testing out new thumbnail styles, descriptions, and went all in on promotion and keeping the game fresh, changing the thumbnail each week, adding new characters and live events, optimizing every part of the game, all for the upcoming live event planned to occur on the following Saturday. The creators were expecting a good result of around 70,000 people attending the new event. What they didn't expect, however, was over 170,000 people logging in at once to play. Over 100,000 more than they initially thought was possible. Every creator knew this day marked Fortnite creative history, as it seemed like if this map kept growing at this scale, it'd only be a matter of time until they beat the all-time CCU record of 235,000. Next week seemed promising, an even cooler looking Fire and Ice themed event cooking up, and the entire community being hyped for this day. Already 2 hours before the event, the player count started rising significantly. It seemed like a no-brainer that they'd end up smashing the previous record and rewriting Fortnite history. However, around 30 minutes before the event's start, the player count stopped rising, and after a few minutes of confusion, people realized that Steal the Brainrot had single-handedly broke the Fortnite servers, and people weren't able to matchmake into a game. Although this was a slightly frustrating outcome of what was a highly anticipated event, they still managed to beat their own previous record, almost hitting 200,000 concurrent players, and for the first time ever, beating the #1 mode on the entire Fortnite platform, beating Battle Royale's player count by over 20,000. You'd expect that at this point, even Epic Games' attention would be caught, which turned out to be very true, as 2 weeks later, the official Fortnite accounts started pumping out Steal the Brainrot promo on all of their accounts, which then received pretty diverse feedback since this seemed like such a goofy game to promote on the official Fortnite pages. Some people were furious about the fact that Epic Games was officially promoting AI art. Other people were furious that they were promoting low-effort or slop content instead of actual good games. Instead of pulling back, however, they went a step further and twisted the knife by promoting the Steal the Brainrot live event on a completely new discovery page called Live, which was a huge banner on top of Discovery, purely displaying Steal the Brainrot, making even the last few people in the community that haven't yet touched this game curious to try it out. On this day, they obviously crushed their own record again, right? Maybe by around 50,000 players, getting close to smashing the all-time record. No, the Carnival event ended up accumulating over 400,000 players at once, absolutely stun-locking everyone in the community, crushing the previous record by over 150,000 players and securing their spot in the Fortnite history books. At this point, there was no going back. The only thing a few people were skeptical about was a potential copyright strike by the original owners of Steal a Brainrot on Roblox, which simultaneously was breaking records and writing gaming history. However, just 1 day after this huge milestone, Farron's announced that Steal the Brainrot on Fortnite is officially licensed from the original Roblox game, Steal a Brainrot. Everyone knew this map wasn't going anywhere. Steal the Brainrot started to sometimes be above Battle Royale's player count during times without having an event running, and week by week crushing their own records in standard Steal the Brainrot fashion. The map was already bringing in millions a month, on top of every tab, and had stats that were unreachable. Servers kept breaking week by week due to the immense amounts of people that were trying to load into the map. A bunch of similar games started taking off, and as expected, every creator was talking about it. Except the server instability and one unlucky occurrence recently where the map had to be taken down for roughly a day due to a Fortnite update breaking crucial stuff in the map. Steal the Brainrot had a generational run like no one has ever seen before. On the 8th of November 2025, the game was sitting at almost 100 minutes average playtime, over 60% of Day 7 retention, and so many other crazy stats. Steal the Brainrot's current CCU record was 590,000, and as usual, the creators had set up a Tokyo-themed live event scheduled to start later today, and everything went right. A bunch of players were online due to new season traffic. Steal the Brainrot was being promoted on the live tab, and the server for once weren't acting up. On this day, they managed to hit over 750,000 players, beating top-level Steam games and just being so far above any other game in the Fortnite creative ecosystem. The community was going crazy as usual, and just 1 day after, they got an extra 10,000 on top of that peak for a literal rerun of the Tokyo event. By the time you're watching this video, Steal the Brainrot might have already hit 1 million players, and I really wouldn't be surprised.